Back here on the Cover 3 podcast, live on CBS Sports Network from Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that sharp-dressed gentleman down on the end is Washington coach Jedd Fisch. You were with us last season looking at how to take that Washington team and the program into the Big Ten. And you had experience, right, from your time as an assistant. After leading that team through that first season, were there any surprises about Big Ten football in the modern era?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was the travel. We had 2 games that were noon kickoffs Eastern Standard Time, so 9 a.m. our time, and trying to really work through, like, what does that mean? It's like a 5 a.m. team breakfast. It's a 6 a.m. You're getting on the bus. How do you get the guys motivated to play, the 3.5 hours needed, not just a good first quarter or a good second quarter, or not just start slow and pick it up. So that was a challenge that we got to work through. I would say the conference is so good, and the quality of players, the size of the team. We didn't have the players really to compete week in and week out. Now, we won our 6 home games, and we had some good wins against Michigan and SC and UCLA, but really for the most part for our team, I felt like we needed to get bigger. We needed to get better in the trenches, run the football better, and stop the run.
You mentioned the road trips and the kind of impact that had on your team. You guys struggled on the road, but I think there's more context to it in that you played 3 teams on the road who ended up in the college football playoff, and you also had to travel multiple time zones for most of those except for the Oregon game. But from what happened last year, is there anything you guys are trying to approach differently for how you take those trips to kind of, have a little bit better success on the road?
Yeah, I mean, there's, certainly part of it. And I said that to our team. I said to anyone that wanted to listen, we weren't as good as Oregon was last year. We weren't as good as Penn State was last year, and we weren't as good as Indiana was last year. And those 3 teams won 11 games or more, and we played them all on the road. Playing Iowa on the road, not many people have had a lot of success there. And then, we wound up having a rough game against Rutgers. We missed 3 field goals and got stopped on the 2, and they got stopped on the 1-yard line against Wazoo. So, I mean, those were our games. So, what does it really mean? What does it really look like? I think that we learned that Coach Spurrier used to always say, to win on the road, you bring a good team. And, how good of a team we can bring will determine how many games we'll win on the road. You have that advantage at home. And on the road, you don't have that advantage. So you have to be able to out-physical them, out-tough them, out-execute them.
What was it about Damon that you saw in practice that made you say, hey, I know he's 18 and my starting quarterback's like 24, 25 years old. I still got to get this kid into the game? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was one of those weird scenarios, right? Like, when we got to Washington, we got there and it was really a brand new team and a brand new program. And it's almost, you're making a decision you almost felt like you're an expansion team a little bit in the way it felt. 1 returning starter out of 22, 44 guys on the roster when we walked in the door. We were trying to build through the spring portal, which is not how you want to build a team. We were convincing Will Rogers, who signed with Kalen, to stay with us. But on the same token, we needed to plan for the future. And I needed to see in spring, how good can Damon be? And if we are struggling, what do we want to, is he a weapon or is he an everyday starter in year 1? And I thought early on he was a weapon. Will had real good success early through 10 touchdowns, no interceptions the first 6 games of the year. And then we got to a point where we were kind of getting a little stale. We weren't executing at the highest level. We were playing against better competition. We were struggling to block them. And I thought it would be a better opportunity to see if Damon could make some plays with his feet. And then he started making plays with his arm too, and that's kind of how it happened.
You offered him early in his high school career, correct?
Oh, yeah, I fell in love with Damon early. As a freshman in high school.
Right.
He came to our 7-on-7 tournament at U of A, and he just lit it up. I mean, he's guy's got unbelievable talent. So we offered him then, and then as a sophomore, we stayed on top of it pretty good, but then he committed to another program. And we kind of stayed on top of it, but still concerned, you can't overextend yourself to someone committed elsewhere. And then at his junior year, he was just so good. He won the state championship. We kind of tried to get back in the mix, had a great spring with him, and then got him to commit the summer going into his senior year.
The So they're watching his progression as a player, and is there some real excitement? We had him in here. I think that he looks ready to go. Do you feel like this is something that's been years in the making for him to be taking over that QB1 duty?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's got some riz, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has amazing charisma. He's got an it factor about him. And,
right.
What I love about Damon is he practiced every single day in the spring. He lifted every lift. He didn't miss any time. He found a way to, no matter if he was sore, if he was bruised, if he was whatever it might be. He was practicing, he was playing, he was competing, he was learning football. He embraced, he takes great notes. He embraced post-practice, how to communicate with us. So all in all, I just feel like he's at a good place. He's 19 now, and he's had that experience of playing a bowl game, had an experience of coming back from down 14 with 5 minutes left, and going for 2 to win it, and the agony behind the ball getting tipped, but also the excitement of being in that position.
He didn't just play in that bowl game. He balled out in that bowl game. Flipping to the other side of the ball, I'm noticing a trend when I look at your corners. You brought Ephesians with you last year, 6'4".
Yeah.
Takario Davis comes along again this year, 6'4". Dylan Robinson in your freshman class, coming in, incoming recruit, 6'3". Coach, do you have a type at corner that you seem to be interested in?
You should ask our DB coach when I start with, well, how long is he? And he's like, he'll start with okay, now this guy is not 6'2", but, I just think as an offensive coach, I've called probably 12 years of calling plays. Tall corners are hard to throw against. And I'm like, if I know that, why aren't we trying to recruit that? I tell our DB coach, I go, maybe one day when I become the head coach, we can get this done. But we got there. And Dylan is another great fit to what we like to see. And I do think Rashawn Clark's going to be a great player for us as well. And so we've got some corners. We've got all the different sizes, but those 2 twin towers this year will be fun.
So the current head coach at the University of North Carolina said that he spent some time around the program. He takes your defensive coordinator. Is any bad blood there with Bill Belichick?
There's zero bad blood. There's nothing but great friendship, great respect, great admiration. We still talk very often. He's really the guy that I look up to in this profession. And I told Steve, he's like, Coach, probably my dad's going to want me to come with him. I'm like, well, yeah, I get it. And, there's a decision you always have to make, right, in terms of what's best at that moment in time in your career. And I think it was a moment to go back with his dad at the final job. And to do it with him was too good to pass up. But I'm a huge fan and be rooting hard for him.
We had Ryan Day on and asked him about being a CEO head coach. And he's like, yeah, you have to be in today's day and age. But man, that playoff run, I actually got to dig into the ball and into the film and kind of get back into that play caller mindset. Like, you still call plays. What is it you love about calling plays and designing offense?
Yeah. I just think that's why we did it. That's why we got into this thing. I didn't 25 years ago go to University of Florida and say, man, I would love to learn how to lead from Coach Spurrier. I just didn't. I know we all use the great coach speak of, I just really want to build a culture. No, I want to coach ball and, coach the quarterback and draw up plays and watch film till late at night and, have my eyes shutting while I'm trying to watch and then redo it again. I don't want to give that up right now. I don't, Sean McVay, I talk to all the time about it. Zach Taylor, I talk to all. I'm like, guys, you are not thinking of giving up plays, right? Play calling? And they're like, no. I go, okay, perfect. Because then I can continue. Continue to use you guys as my example. So no, I just love it. I really do. I love the culture. I love team meetings. I love the ability. I think the biggest challenge is not doing 2 jobs. The biggest challenge is making sure the defensive players know that you're not the offensive coordinator. They have to understand you're the head coach who calls offensive plays. You're not the offensive coordinator, because otherwise it becomes personal and it never should.
He is Washington head coach Jedd Fisch. Coach, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Cover 3 podcast. Best of luck this season.
I love it. Thanks for having me.